How's it going, everyone? Matt Layton, welcome back to another video. This one's a little bit different. Today we have a special guest with me, Joe. How's it going?
Howdy, going great. Good to be here.
So today's video is going to be about title insurance, the exciting world of title insurance. I know that's why you clicked on the video, and we're going to get into it just here in a second. Joe, first tell me a little bit about who you are, who you work for, what you do.
Okay, my name is Joe Moreno. I'm a managing attorney here at Universal Title in our Arlington office. We are a settlement company. We do residential settlements for Virginia, Maryland, and DC. We cover basically the entire gamut of, from contract ratification all the way down to the day of settlement. We walk you through the entire process.
Joe is just about the best dressed attorney in Arlington, so I had to bring my A game here. He's always rocking the three-piece suits. Okay, enough about Joe and his stylish looks. Joe, we're gonna get right into it. Tell the people what is title insurance, because when I get that question from a buyer, I can tell them what title insurance is, but a lot of times I'll just give them the Webster definition of it. Sure. And then if they ask any sort of follow-up question, I am completely out of my element, which maybe I should honestly know a little bit more. But the last thing I want to have happen is to have my client then reach out to you and say, well, Matt said this about title insurance. So tell them what it is.
Sure, no problem. So title insurance at its very base is basically just about peace of mind for the buyer. It is protection against any type of title defects that may occur that were previously unknown. So really running the gamut. If there was anything that should have been recorded with land records that wasn't, if anyone was defrauded throughout the chain of title in the history before you purchased the property, if there was any loan or line of credit that maybe wasn't released properly, all that stuff creates what's called a cloud on title, which means that you don't have marketable and insurable title, which is a problem. Part of the process, the contractual process rather, is that you get marketable and insurable title, and every once in a while, obviously, there's an issue that people don't foresee, okay? And that's what title insurance is there to protect. Basically, it keeps you from having to come out of pocket to pay for attorneys, to pay for court costs, to pay for anything to defend the property that you just purchased, okay? Obviously, everything here that is done by people, okay? People sometimes make mistakes. Sometimes in the chain, things don't happen as they're supposed to,
right.
And that's not the buyer's fault,
right?
Okay? And so title insurance is designed to make sure that there are no problems that cause them to lose money or to, worst case scenario, lose their own property after they've purchased it in good faith.
So it's protection leading up to the sale, things that have happened in the past that there's no real way of knowing. It could be like a mechanic's lien from something that just happened, or it could be 20 years ago where something happened and we just don't know. Is that right? Right,
exactly. And there are actually two types of owner's title policy or title insurance. The standard, which is just looking backwards. Okay, so just anything that happened pre-settlement. So as I mentioned, if there was a deed of gift, if someone sold the property to you, but before they did that, they gave a half of their property to their cousin, but they never recorded it in land records. Their cousin finds out that the property gets sold, and now all of a sudden they want their piece of the property. Okay, well, there's no legal record of them ever having an interest in the property. They don't have any ownership as far as the county is concerned, as far as the law is concerned, but they have this piece of paper, and they're going to sue you based on it. Okay, title insurance means that you don't have to incur any of those costs. Okay, and the standard title insurance just looks backwards from the date of settlement, anything that happened prior to settlement. Now, there's also an option for what's called the enhanced title policy, and that covers everything that looks backwards, but it also looks forwards for you. And so, if there are any issues, it does cover things that happen after the fact, like these mechanics liens. For example, if there was any work done on the property, one of the things that a lot of times will happen is that as part of the home inspection, okay, work will be agreed to be done. Okay, if a contractor doesn't get paid, or if a contractor doesn't pay their subcontractor, which nobody might know except for the contractor, they could put a lien on the property that could attach after the date of settlement. Okay, that's covered with the enhanced policy. Also, if there are any permits or anything that weren't properly pulled, counties don't really proactively look for that. Okay, so I could have my kitchen redone by my cousin. If he doesn't pull any permits, the county doesn't care until you decide to redo it after you've purchased it from me. At that point, they're going to go and do their preliminary inspections and say, listen, there's a problem, there should have been some permits pulled, and that's going to be your responsibility. That's also something that title insurance covers as well.
Got it. So you all usually recommend premium over the standard just for that reason, because if a contractors know their houses, they know which house they've done work on, and they might casually drive by the house and notice that, the for sale sign is gone, the sold's in there.
Absolutely.
So for that reason, and then just for extra protection, it sounds like you all recommend premium over standard.
Sure, absolutely. So we always recommend the enhanced or the premium, and really for the money, there's about a 20% difference in cost. So in terms of the money that folks are spending, $200,
so
$400,
how
$600.
much is title insurance? Because there's lender's title insurance and owner's title insurance. Let's delineate on those two and then dive into the cost.
Absolutely. So lender's title insurance is something that your lender requires you to purchase on their behalf.
So that's
to protect.
required.
Exactly.
So you have to have lender's insurance.
That's correct. Lenders don't take any chances almost across the board, and so because they're lending you all this money, they can require that you pay to protect their interest in it. And so that's the lender's title insurance. That's a standard policy. It looks backwards to cover any type of title defects that happen prior to settlement. Okay?
Got it.
Now, in addition to that, you have the option to purchase your owner's title policy.
Okay.
Now, that's not required. The law doesn't require that you carry that, just like for a long time it wasn't required that you have health insurance.
Right.
Okay, it is now, obviously. Right. But we feel like it's a good idea because it offers you peace of mind. And so for a $500,000 property, between the both lenders and owner's title insurance, you're probably looking at about $2,400 to $2,500
combined.
Combined, exactly right. And so it's difficult to really tell you what the flat cost of it is because it's determined on a sliding scale. So the more expensive it is, the more expensive the property is, the less expensive the title insurance is per dollar that you're spending.
Okay. So that cost is directly related then to the size of the loan or the amount that the property is worth. It's not something like a lot of my buyers, they want to negotiate on every single thing, which they should. You absolutely should. But and even some title costs are negotiable, but title insurance is strictly based on the property, and it's regulated. So
exactly, it's a sliding scale based on the cost of the property that you're buying. And
so lenders not required. Lenders required. I'm already getting it mixed up.
Required. Yes, sir.
Lenders required. Owners not required. Now, some agents, I'm not going to lie, some agents I work with and some savvy buyers, self-appointed savvy buyers, don't know if title insurance is worth it. They don't know if, I mean, they're buying expensive properties, but at the same time, if you can save $1,200, $1,500, you're going to try to do that. So, in your experience, you just were telling me off camera how many transactions you've done, a lot. Is title insurance worth it? Do you see a lot of issues arise with title insurance?
I would say title insurance is definitely worth it. Now, obviously, take my opinion with a grain of salt because I'm here the one telling you to buy it. But title insurance really is about keeping you safe, you not having to worry about any potential problems. Now, there's a lot of turnover in the Northern Virginia area, and so a lot of things have kind of shaken out. All right, and so a lot of the problems that you may find in some of the outer counties, you won't necessarily find in this area. However, that being said, there's no way to tell, especially with the enhanced, moving forward if there's going to be a permit, because that's not something that's really researched throughout the process unless you absolutely make a point to go to permitting and see if they've pulled all these permits. And people do these type of things all the time. There's so much turnover in Northern Virginia. There's really no way to tell that that's going to be done or has not been done. And so for what is, in relative terms, a small amount of money, you never, for the rest of your natural life, have to worry about anyone trying to take your property away from you. Okay, and really,
that's peace of mind, right there.
Sure, absolutely. And the bottom line is that some of these problems can be resolved with relatively little money. You can fix a permitting problem without too much of an issue just by the permit itself. But if they have to go into your walls to take a look at that stuff, okay, that could run you in the thousands of dollars for a contractor to come and fix it. The county's not going to fix that for you once they break your walls down. Similarly, if you have to pay for an attorney, okay, you're going to be running into 5 figures before you even get to court. Okay, and so these type of things, that's really where the benefit is for you with title insurance, because you don't have to worry about what the costs are to protect your interests. You know that you can just call your title insurance company and they'll take care of it for you, and then they'll come back to you and say, listen, we did everything in the background, your title is clear, your title is, you've quieted title, go ahead and sleep easy at night.
Got it. So let's just say, for conversation, totally hypothetical, let's say I'm too good for title insurance.
Sure.
I'm like, sure, lenders, title insurance, whatever. I opt for no owner's title insurance, and well, surprise, surprise, something comes up.
Right.
So what is going to happen is is the deal not going to close? Am I going to get sued? Is the county going to, is a contract, like what would be a hypothetical that could happen?
Sure. Well, so we won't close unless we believe there to be clear title, okay? And so if at the table you decide that you don't want owner's title insurance, that's totally fine, that's your option. You know, some people are a little bit more amenable to risk than others. If something does happen down the road and it determines that there was some document that should have been recorded that wasn't, or should have been released but wasn't, basically that creates what we call a cloud on your title, which means that you can't sell this property until that's resolved, okay? It may not necessarily be something that you have to go to court immediately for, but it may just mean that you're not going to be able to move on from this property until it's resolved. And so that's either going to take, you know, your time, hours and hours to figure it out with the court, and counties typically aren't particularly helpful in a lot of these things. The clerk, for all the wonderful work that they do in every county, they don't make a habit of walking you through the process necessarily. Or if it's something a little bit more urgent, that means that you're going to be responsible for retaining an attorney, for telling them what you're looking for going to court and protecting your interest in it. And so if that's the case and you're able to resolve and it's, you're on the winning side of things, that's great, but you're still out all that money that you've now spent on an attorney. You know, just to give you a small example, you know, I've seen properties where lines of credit weren't properly released, and sellers who had no title insurance had to go to court, spend about $30,000.
$30.
Yeah, it's fine. Pocket money. $30,000 just in attorney's fees. On top of everything.
On a clouded title,
exactly
sort of
right.
issue with the
Sure,
title.
and you know, and they won in the end because it was a problem with the prior title company. But at the same time, they had to come out of pocket all that money or put that on a credit card that they then had to work with somebody else to try and get that money back.
So obviously that's an extreme case, but these are real life problems that Joe sees, and Joe's not paying out of pocket. It's the people that want to save $1,000 that are paying out of pocket. So title insurance probably should get it. At the end of the day, it's up to you, but definitely highly consider getting it, and definitely consider getting the enhanced. Is that what it's called?
Absolutely.
Cool. So to recap, you know what title insurance is now. You know how much it costs. You know the benefits, the drawbacks, the risk of not having title insurance. Joe, I don't think you've seen any of my videos, shame on you, but to sum it up, I always do this thing called top 3. So give me the top 3 things you need to know about title insurance.
All right. One, I would say the first thing is that it offers peace of mind. We mentioned that it basically makes sure that you don't have to worry about your title moving forward, okay? Also, I would, say keep it in perspective, okay? If you're buying a $500,000 property, in the abstract, $2,500 is a lot of money. That's not something that everyone just will say, here, have it. But to protect that $500,000 property for the rest of your life, to only pay $2,500 once seems reasonable when you put it in perspective.
Certainly.
And finally, I would say, if you do have an issue, have patience, okay? Because if someone approaches you with an issue, obviously you want it taken care of just like that. Okay, it will be taken care of, but typically when you have an issue, First American or whatever title insurance provider you use is going to have to go through the court system, and those things take time. And so they will take care of it for you, that's what it's for, and they're going to take care of it for you without any extra cost to you, but it may take some time to work its way through the court system. So just be aware of that just because it isn't resolved necessarily in 2 weeks, doesn't mean that they're not working very hard for you.
Cool. There you have it, the top 3 things you need to know about title insurance from Joe Moreno, all-star attorney here at Universal Title. Before we go, check out this view, this new office. I wish I could do a tour or something around here. This is a sweet office.
Appreciate it. We're proud.
Tell some of these people, they're in Arlington, Virginia, they're in Northern Virginia, and they want to know about Universal Title. Tell them a little bit about what you guys got going on.
Sure, absolutely. We are a full-service settlement company. We're right here in Courthouse. We're up on the 5th floor. We have great views. Actually, we've got two full conference rooms, so we can accommodate any number of people here. We've got cable TV if you need to hang out and wait. Okay, we've also got stuff for celebrating after the fact. If you need to pop open a bottle of bubbly, we can probably help you out with that. But
I think we're gonna go do that now in a second.
Exactly right.
Cool. That's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for Joe for hanging out with me today. If you have any questions, I'm going to link Joe's is that cool if I link your contact? So
for sure.
I'll link Joe's contact information in the description below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Until next time, create a productive day. Take care.